Hey guys, how's it going? It's Flux here. Welcome back to Fluxburgh, and we're diving right back in here again to this little area back here we were working on last time. I am actually recording these back to back from the last one, so I'm kind of already anticipating the comments of, wow, that looks terrible, this looks awful. So I kind of want to just keep rolling with this. I know it looks pretty weird right now, but I think it's going to work out in the end here. As you can see right now, we're actually letting the water settle a bit because right now it's still kind of doing its whole tidal wavy weird shifting stuff because of the moving of the terraforming tool on the water. So we need to do that so that we can actually place down these sewage plants. And to do this, I needed to actually put the game in play mode again, which meant I had to throw these things down, or else our entire city would go down and it'd be pretty bad. So we're just about balanced out here now. And then we can go back to kind of planning out where these sewage treatment plants are going to go. As you can see, we're actually still getting some weird water physics right now. As it all kind of, it just basically all this stuff we just kind of kicked up here that was previously underwater made just big tidal waves that kind of kicked around this way. So it's all kind of clearing itself out right now. But it looks like we can actually fit a few things down here if we're careful. So I'm going to look into that a little bit here now. We can see what we can do with this. I'll hit pause again, or I'll put it in slower mode. And we can try and work with this a little bit, but we need a little bit more room here to make this thing work out. So why don't we try doing something along these lines? So we'll draw like right next to it, something like this. Okay, that's pretty good. Might be a little bit underwater at some points, but I think this is gonna work if we're careful. Let's see, something like this. Again, we'll probably have to make some sharper edges with some roads or something to make this look nicer, but that's okay for now. Okay, we're a bit further on this one, actually. Let's go a little bit further out. There we go, that's better. Awesome, okay. So let's just try both of these sides. If this one works, we can probably cut it back a little bit and try something different. Okay, so right now, actually, the water level is probably going to be a problem. So, but this, actually, I think this is going to work pretty well. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to try my best to get these in relatively the same location. So we got about 3 on each side. So 6 total. That's good. Awesome. Okay, and then I like that much better than the classic throwing it all on the coastline kind of design, which just seems a little bit sloppy if you ask me. Okay, that's much better. And then for this one, I was thinking we could just do kind of a smaller form factor, mostly because we're actually working with a bit closer to this little area down this way, this little coastline. So why don't we try, first of all, getting some more space. Again, it's easier to work with more room. So, I'm just going to pull this out. Wow. Doing this in fast forward is absolutely just terrible on the CPU. It's probably because it's trying to do some real-time physics on the water there while I do this. Okay, so I think we had 3 units across when we did this. Let me see if I can somehow draw a bridge across here, just so we can get a perpendicular road over here, if possible. Yeah, let's try that. There we go. Actually, that's kind of cool. Wow, so you can see it floods a little bit at some point. That would be actually detrimental to any sort of sewage pumping system if that was actually happening in real life. We'd just basically be pulling all of this treatment water out and into the sewage again, and it'd be ruining everything. But we'll pretend we didn't see that. Let's see, that far. There we go. And then we did, okay, we need to leave 3 units. So here, and then come back in again, like that. And then I want to actually pull this one down this way a bit further, just because I want to try and get a few more in on the inside. So we have 6 here, 6 more, and then maybe we actually pull one of these out a bit, or do like a sideways connection this way, something like that. Because we're definitely going to have to increase our capacity later on. Maybe we'll have some more on this side or something. I don't really know. We could plan this out. I actually want to have more than enough room so we don't have to start putting down sewage again until we're way over here working on that side. Then we can deal with it over there. So, okay. We're just about back to normal water heights again. It's just kind of fluctuating a bit, but if we catch it on a good time, then we can pretty easily fix that. I'm going to actually go ahead and just use this road too. I kind of like how this cuts in. So if we can go ahead and just draw this so we can make the roads level, that would be great. There we go. Now we can pull this back down again. And then again, we'll just go all the way down and then pull it back out again in a minute here. Okay. Wow, it's going to cause some more waves in the water. Alright, there we go. That's pretty good. For now, anyway. So look at that. There's zero water over here, so get ready for some weird water physics going to happen here. And let's see if we can actually maybe maintain this height right here. That would be awesome if we could do that. Just along the outside here, if possible. Alright, I'll play that for a bit. Let this all balance out again. And then we can come back. Ooh, I actually didn't power these yet. Oh yeah, we don't need to power them yet. We're not deleting anything over here quite yet. So we're good to go on that. Why don't we try and draw a road down this way, though? I kind of want to have one road perpendicular to this avenue, if we can. So maybe like here. And then once we get past this one road, then we can start thinking about kind of having this outer, I don't know, like boardwalk kind of area that we can play around with a little bit. And then this could actually just go straight through and connect here. Is there a good way to connect, though? Actually, how about this? I got a better idea. Let's pull this off. And then let's connect these two. So we'll have this come out like this. And then we'll just have this one connect to these two. Be a little T intersection. That's better. Okay. Awesome. And then I'm probably going to mostly not zone on this road. It's kind of the connector road, so we can definitely play around with the terraforming a bit here if we want to. You know, make some nice, well, you really can't play around with anything right now in the full speed mode, but you know what I mean. Alright, this is slowly balancing itself out. Let's see if we get... Okay, here we go. Now we're lowering in water level again. There it is, right there. Let's try if we can get it over here too. Oh, perfect. Oh, there we go. That was easier than I thought. Look at that. That's a pretty optimal little pumping location. Awesome. Okay, that's all level now. Much better. Yeah, it was actually probably fine how it was, but that's okay. This is good too. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus 6, so 12, 13, 14, 15. And then I want to do at least a few more here. Actually, you could probably even fit these on the end. Oh yeah, we could easily do that. Okay. Well, there we go then. I'm going to make this one straighter. It's kind of bad, but that's going to be plenty for handling all this stuff, because we have, I mean, this was like 12? Or no, I think it was 13 or 14 that we had. So this is fine, because we're just trying to handle at least this side, and then we'll move over to the island for the rest, I think is the idea here. So, okay, that's good. We can go ahead and stop being in fast forward mode, because that's just terrible. And why don't we just go ahead and start connecting these so we can get rid of the ones that are over on the coast over there. So we'll connect all these up nice and clean. I gotta say, I like this a lot better than our old system. Connect these like that, connect them across, and then I'll just go ahead and do that. Oops, that's not connected there. Boom. And then we'll just try and make sure we have enough water for all these guys. Coming in here. Oops. Space already occupied. What? Oh, they're weird connections, that's all. Alright. There we go. And then power. That's the one thing. Do we get a power jump over here? No, we do not. Okay. So, before we even hit play, though, I definitely want to be, like, smoothing and fixing all this stuff, because we definitely did some damage, if you want to say that. Or we played around with this a lot, and we didn't get to fix it too much. So, why don't we do that now? We're gonna get some flooding for a minute while this all fixes itself. Yeah, these all went along the edge as well. I almost think it'd be kind of cool if we had this train not above the water. Why don't we try and fix that? That looks kind of weird right now, I think. Let me just go ahead and fix that a little bit. Because I think it looks cool if you can get this to terraform right. Let me just actually use the terraforming tool to make a nice clean little piece here for our train to run along. Now, it can't be too low. That's the one thing I just thought of now, is that would be bad. We don't want the water to flood, because right now we're still kind of balancing our water levels here, so it's not a time to play around with, like, getting nice and close to the water, because it's probably going to change, and we're probably going to end up flooding our train if we're not careful. So let's go ahead and try and make that look nice and clean. I also don't want to have anything too weird, you know, like right up alongside the housing down this way. So why don't we try and make sure that stays about even as well, if we can. So maybe more like that. Let me smooth this stuff out a little bit over here. Okay, looking better. Now we can... Here's the exit point. Oh yeah, this is where we actually had the split, didn't we? 'Cause this is where the train is supposed to come back out again. So this is the other thing you guys didn't like too much. It only goes under over here, so it's not really going under the mining operation. It's going by the highway, but I guess this is technically some mining stuff down this way. So whatever. We may change that if we decide to change this operation later on, or we decide to do something different with it later on. But for now, I'm not really too bothered by it. But yes, this is going to be the split. So we'll have the nice, clean split in this direction, and then we're going to have another piece that comes off this way. So we need to make sure we have some ample room for it to come in here. Maybe some elevated pieces here and there. Oops, maybe not that elevated though. Let me get some more like higher up plateau parts kind of around here. We'll definitely be smoothing this out in a minute, but kind of want to have this look a bit more natural, a bit less formed. A bit of this. There we go. And we'll start smoothing it out. Especially around here. Okay, there we go. Because this is where the split's going to happen. So we have one going off that way, and then one coming off a bit straighter. That's going to go up here. And then this is going to be the one that wraps around and reconnects with that cargo section down that way. So we'll just have this kind of run along here, run along the ridge. Actually, why don't we have this kind of... I was kind of imagining going through a little tunnel over here on this side. Just have like a little plateau ledge kind of piece that comes out this way a little bit. Even out over the water a little bit. Oops. No worries, we're going to smooth this out anyway. Yeah, so we don't really have anywhere that's going to be zoned on the outer edge. Actually, we could probably pull this out a bit so that we can get some more zonable space just for this road. That would be kind of nice. Yeah, let's do that. Cool. And then this is going to be the part that really starts swinging out this way. And then we're going to be definitely doing some more terraforming once we remove these useless pieces. Actually, so we should just power this now, just so we can go ahead and start removing those and really think about what we want this coastline to look like. So I'm going to just temporarily put a little power line this way. Obviously not going to be where it actually goes, but for now anyway, and I'll just make a temporary one over here as well so we can just connect these two. Hang on, let me just page this up so we're not running into anything. There we go. Okay. So now we have power to these, and we can go ahead and delete all these guys. That should give us some more money. So these were costing us quite a bit of money to have double the amount of sewage treatment going on. Delete all that stuff. And, oops, that's no power to here. Oh yeah, we still have the connection over on this side, so we're fine. Cool. Whoa! That was some flooding that just happened. That was probably all that terraforming we just did there. That's pretty insane. Can you actually flood these things? I'm not even really sure you can. I don't think that they flood. I think they just keep working even if they're underwater. Or you have to like probably take them way up over. Oops, we need to actually... Can we place these here? No, we can place them here. I actually think we're putting it on the water, I think. Which is interesting. That's not going to be permanent, obviously. Just getting all the connections we need to power so we don't cut our city short of any sewage treatment it needs. So there we go. That kind of sucks that all flew up there because now we can't really see exactly where we need to be along this this area over here. Okay, so some more train tracks then. Just page this down real quick. I want to kind of weave around this this factory here, and then we'll get up right alongside these offices. Right up over here again. There we go. Awesome. So there's the new line. It's got a little bit of close proximity to this area, but not too bad. Should be just fine once this whole area kind of clears a little bit. Wow, that's a lot more water than I thought was going to come up here. Then we need to have one more little piece come this way and connect. Hang on, let me delete this for 2 seconds. Let me just pause so we don't mess anything up too much. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a little branch off over here. It just kind of comes along here and connects right about there. Okay, that's definitely one of the worst I've ever made. Hang on, let me just make this look cleaner. That is just awful. That's terrible. There we go. That's a nice clean. I don't know why it was so hard to make that, but I don't know. This is better though. Oops, we need to definitely fix this though. Okay, now we can do some smoothing. Much better. I like that a lot. And we'll do some nice, I'll probably go grab some trees and things and make a nice little kind of centerpiece to this split over here. We have a lot of things to do with this little piece too, this outer area. But wow, that water flooded for a while. Did it finally subside? Yeah, it's still kind of flooding a bit. Oop, we have no power. Hang on, that's not good. I'll just do a quick little connection down here again. Like I said before, I'll definitely make a more clean connection once we have some more time to work with this. I might actually go I think in the next episode we're gonna actually take the time to, you know, cut away from all this and like actually work on making it look aesthetically pleasing, because right now it's just kind of the bare bones design for all this stuff. So we're gonna have some nice cement walkways through here. We're not gonna have any really exposed, like, not green grass areas, so it should look pretty good when we're all done. Did this ever grow back? Yeah, it did. Okay, so it looks like actually when eventually if you let this stuff sit for long enough, the grass grows back again, so you're not gonna have all that that like sandy stuff all around there. So anyway, we'll let this stuff kind of slowly work its way out, and in the meantime, I'd like to quickly do just a little bit of stuff over here. We can just kind of get this going too. So this episode is definitely going to be the getting things going episode, and then I'm probably going to do a live stream here in the next day or two. I'll probably actually be before this even goes live, actually, honestly. And I'll definitely just work out this whole thing, and then I'll cut away a whole bunch of it so you don't have to watch me just like placing trees for 3 hours, and then we'll have a good final product whenever we're done there. That hopefully looks nice and has lots of detail added to it without the tedious like 5-episode part thing we'd have to do if we did it live. So and awesome. Okay, so the occasional flooding, but that's not a big deal. Let's go ahead and I want to throw down some zones because we've been playing a lot with roads, so it'd be nice to finally get some nice office space in here. Now, I would like to see if we could. I don't really know why we can't zone offices down over here. Oh, you know what? I do know why, actually. We need to get this stuff leveled out a bit more first so that the offices can actually grow. We can have actual zonable space around here. So let's see how plausible this is. We have to update these roads real quick. I think if you just upgrade and then downgrade, it should actually... Oops, that made it into a bridge. Okay. That's not what I had in mind. Hang on a minute. We gotta redraw this stuff real quick. So we'll do that. I'm just gonna do that for over here too. We'll just make one big arcing road. In fact, I'm just gonna do that to the whole thing here. Oops, sorry buddy. He was building his business. and now it's gone. Should make sure that these parking lots aren't getting sucked into the abyss as well. I might go back and kind of fine-tune that little, or refine that edge a little bit. It's a little bit off, but that's okay. So this is actually off a tiny bit. We need to go a little bit forward. Oops. Maybe about this far, and then we can go ahead and do our nice big arcing turn. Oops. Cannot build on water. That's... hang on. That's better. Awesome. So that'll let us zone over here, which is great. And then we can go ahead and do what we did earlier and just kind of cut away right up against the road here. Then smooth all this stuff out a little bit. Get a bigger smoothing tool if we can. Oops, maybe not that big. Although it might be useful down here, actually. Let me just see what we can do with this. Oh, that's much better. Then we can get pretty much all just straight down to the ground, which is nice. Okay. And then the last thing that I wanted to do before we... oops, we don't have any power down here, do we? Hang on a minute. Did not think about that. Well, that's nice. Look at these buildings kind of coming in here. These look like... these, like, fit perfectly. I like this a lot, actually. That's nice. Yeah, power. That's going to be a problem. I'm just going to connect these... actually, let me just zone this because I can. Why is this not zonable, though? That's kind of odd to me. Maybe we can try to update that. Again, I don't want to accidentally make a bridge. That's going to make a bridge. Yeah, all this stuff's going to make bridges because we have some pretty weird terraforming going on over here. So, you know what? I'm just going to let this be. Actually, you know, maybe if we do a little bit of this, we can get this to work. No? Maybe? Maybe if we move back this way again, like this. I don't know if this is actually going to work or not, but I guess worth a try. Yeah, it's weird, and I don't know why this stuff is not zonable. I forgot how we updated this stuff. I guess we just redrew the road, didn't we? I mean, can we just do that? Can we just redraw this road, or is it going to make a bridge? No, we can redraw it. Okay, we're good. So let me just delete a few of these little pieces over here and redraw the road. There we go. Do the same thing over here. I don't want to do too much at a time in case we accidentally mess something up. That would be very unfortunate. Okay, there we go. And as you can see, the offices over here alone are actually doing a pretty good job of kind of balancing out everything. So basically the goal of this when we're done is I really just want to have pretty much this entire half of the city, I guess, this entire big build down this way should be relatively self-sufficient in that it balances the RCI, right? It's got enough sewage to power itself, or power is what? I was thinking of power too. It's got enough sewage treatment to handle the sewage. It's got enough power to power itself. You know, enough water, whatever, all that stuff. I want this to be relatively good to go. You know, the traffic is functioning with it by itself. You know, then we'll make a save, and then we can start working on this side again and not have to worry about trying to, like, make up for this thing's shortcomings or something. So that's definitely what I'm kind of looking for in this. Wow, I'm realizing now this is kind of just like a giant shit bay. Like, it's pretty much just sewage all the way around here. But that's okay. I mean, it is like offices too. And I don't know, it's not terrible. I kind of, to me, it looks more like like oil tankers and things are going through these water, so they're not so clean, you know. It's kind of like if you see those, like, those bayside areas by I don't know, like heavy fishing areas, you know, they got all those big boats going in and out, so it kind of isn't so clean. You wouldn't want to swim there per se, but it's got, you know, a little bay, a little marina, so that's kind of what I think this is more than anything. But anyway, so yeah, we're trying to balance this out. We got some power here now, that's good. And then we could probably even zone some more residential and stuff here too, and then we'll probably leave this back area for commercial and all that stuff. But anyway, I think we're pretty good for today. I just wanted to get this done. I wanted to be able to show you guys what I did with this during that little time lapse there. I honestly have like zero idea how much of this I'm going to be showing for this episode, because I actually did about an hour and a half of live footage and then plus the time lapse, and it's going to probably be like a 30 or 40 minute episode. Hopefully, maybe it's longer, I don't know. So yeah, I'll probably end up cutting quite a bit of that work out. But you can see the final result, so that's good. This is what we ended up with for now, and then we're gonna probably come back, like I said before, and go do a little. Wow, that's going backwards. Okay, that's interesting. We'll go do a live stream, and we'll work on all this stuff, and we'll make it all look really nice. So yeah, that's a plan. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of City Skylines, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.